Alright, we got some new rounds of DC K.O to go over with Aquaman vs Hawkman and Wonder Woman vs Lobo, and obviously we're starting with Aquaman. See, I have not been keeping up on Aquaman comics, but I've heard this dude has a lot of buffs. I was never one of the people that thought he was necessarily weak, but from what I'm hearing with this issue, this shows us exactly what Aquaman really is. So, let's get into it. As we start with Aquaman and Hawkman staring each other down. Someday, when these stories are told to those that survive, they will talk about the wonders of the heroes that strode upon the battlefield. And to be sure, the tales will be tall, the events almost unbelievable, but of all the battles, there's only one that wasn't a battle of just mere mortals and heroes. No, there was one battle that was of something more, of men and the gods they became, as we see these two clash. But we gotta go back a little bit. A day before this, right before the start of the tournament, as we see Arthur traveling with his family, and they're a bit skeptical about this tournament to save the universe. They feel like they either shouldn't be here at all and defending the ocean, or they should join him in the fight. But Arthur doesn't want to hear any of this. He trusts his friends. If they say this is the way to save the universe, then it is, and that's the end of it. And with them accepting this, his daughter gives him a good luck charm, and she knows her father is gonna win, as he swears to bring it back to her, and he goes to start the tournament. As we go back to the fight itself, with Hawkman thinking to himself as he clashes with Aquaman. Aquaman, Arthur, my ally, my friend. As he tells him, I have been a warrior throughout many generations, Arthur, you can't win this. With Arthur responding, things have changed. But Hawkman's thoughts are not as confrontational as his words, as he says he has always been a good man, a good king, a good husband, a hero on both land and sea. As he responds to Arthur, they haven't changed enough, dragging his mace across the ground while continuing to think. He recently lost his beloved Mira. Is that the darkness I sense in him? Like a roiling sea in a storm. He feels the power inside Aquaman, and he tells himself, it does not matter. What hope does one who swims have against those that fly? But Hawkman's getting pretty confident. Clever, a new weapon, but no weapon can stop experience, as he cracks Arthur right across the face, drawing blood. As he continues, and I've had lifetimes of it in matters of war. So despite the power he feels in Aquaman, he knows his experience will trump all of this. And with that, he feels like this one hit decided the whole fight. I'm sorry, friend, it would have been easier if there was water around, I'm sure. And although this was a pretty big hit, Arthur's not done. There's always water. As we see, even in this dry-ass canyon, Arthur is able to call upon the ocean itself. And Hawkman's very surprised as Arthur says, do you understand what made the canyons you fly through? The continents you walk upon? As Hawkman truly cannot believe what he's seeing as the water continues to seep through the canyon. Humanity lives only because the water recedes. Arthur is actually aura farming now. And as he rises with the water, he says, fly Carter, fly as fast as you can. And Carter is doing his best to get out of the reach of the water. Yet Arthur just keeps rising. And Hawkman thinks to himself, something is wrong. He's never had that level of power to control as much as he does, as he's taking more and more hits from the water enough to fill the air, to shrink the distance between us. How can this be? As we practically see a giant tsunami right behind Hawkman no matter how much he tries to fly away. And with it, he is eventually engulfed in this massive wave. I mean, look at the size of it. Arthur is like a little pebble compared to all this water he is easily controlling to obliterate Hawkman. As Hawkman continues to think to himself, everywhere water. I stretch, trying to move up, but which way is up? And now I know. This is not the friend I knew. This is something else, something primordial, something chaotic, as he can't breathe, loses consciousness, and immediately takes the first loss. He hits Arthur once and is completely overwhelmed by the power of Aquaman. And as Hawkman disappears, Arthur feels the power of the Heart of Apocalypse surging through his body. As we learned when it came to Superman vs. Captain Atom, each win brings you closer to the heart and more susceptible to its manipulation. But we gotta pause the tournament for a second to get back to what's going on outside of the tournament. See, Darkseid revealed to be the person inside Booster Gold's body. He attacked Time Trapper and threw him out the ship, and now he's continuing to fight the Quantum Quorum, as he's now against the World Forger, a very formidable opponent. And the World Forger calls him out for being a coward, being inside Booster Gold's body instead of facing the World Forger himself. And although Darkseid tries to deny this, he does admit that he's in Booster's body to hold the World Forger at bay. And with this response, the Forger says, if it is Booster you want, it is Booster you shall have, as he summons a bunch of different versions of Booster Gold to overwhelm Darkseid. But before we get the end of this confrontation, we gotta get back to the tournament. We gotta see how Hawkman is gonna fare against Aquaman now that he knows how overpowered he really is. As we see Hawkman thinking to himself, having removed his gear, as he says, now that I failed, none of these feel right. How can I stand up to something so elemental? Arthur has become something else, something akin to a god, as we see Horus reveal himself to Carter Hall. And he says, "Long ago I rested on Thanagar. From there I called to your ancestors to make that world their own. Through blood and toil you did. I told your wife Shaera I would find another place, another home, and for those that still believed, I would call them to a new world. Tell me, Carter Hall, do you still believe?" And as he responds with yes, he says, "Then rise, you shall be my guardian. Like Halmaran of the past, you shall lead the way, and in return, I will grant you my power." And Aquaman knows something is wrong. This chaotic energy that has permeated this reality has permeated everything, including the blue. I do not control it as much as it is starting to control me. The water is being blown away, but how? The force that would take would be incredible. And we see where this force is coming from, a god-powered Hawkman. Now, Hawkman has leveled the playing field. As he screams, "Let's try that again." As Aquaman continues to think to himself, I can feel the energy coming from him. Hawkman, Carter, my friend. The impact knocks me into the air with as much force as my fight with Dagon. Whatever has possessed him, he holds incredible power. He thinks he has an advantage, keeping me in the sky. And again, he gets overconfident, already apologizing before the fight is over. "I'm sorry, Arthur." And Aquaman's not really worried. He's not even bleeding this time, as he says he's so wrong. As Hawkman continues to explain why he's about to win this. "I have been given power to finish this, to save this planet, to bring my people to their new world. Don't struggle, Aquaman. Up here, there is no water." But clearly, Hawkman has not learned from his previous defeat, as Aquaman's eyes begin to glow blue, as he tells Hawkman, "I told you, old friend, there's always water." And now, we see blood coming out of Hawkman's body and he cannot move. And with him being frozen like this, Aquaman breaks free as he continues to think to himself, he still doesn't understand. I don't know if anyone does. It doesn't matter how much power you have. I have the power of the blue, the connection to all water in the galaxy, the same water that makes up 60% of Carter's body. Carter may have the power of some god, but unless his heart doesn't pump blood, then I can make him as still and as stagnant as a pond. I am the Dark Tide, and once again, he obliterates Hawkman, even powered up by Horus himself, as Aquaman wins 2-0. And this ends the issue. And with him saying this, it's very clear Aquaman has put himself in every conversation with any character that has blood in their body. I'm talking top tiers like Superman. Aquaman's power is on a completely different level. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The next one is Wonder Woman versus Lobo, and we're gonna see how my girl Diana fares against the main man. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.